Okay, but then not all of us can at the same time. That'll be one question too many. But there is one man with many questions on behalf of all of us. Shall we see what's going to happen? Captain Cool, are you prepared? Have you been given cheat sheets? Not yet? I would love to call on stage now Shri Prabhu Ramnathan to do his best to bowl to the one and only Mahendra Singh Dhoni.
Pleasure to have you. First of all, good luck to the next season. Champions Trophy, followed by CSK and World Cup 2019.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. See, as we discussed, I just want to keep it short so that I can lead the questions. You could address the public the way you like. The understanding of primarily technology in sports, what is your view on that? Which is DRS, line call, tennis. Do you think man is taken over by the machine, or still the popularity going to be there?
Well, I think technology over the years have, brought in a lot of good things into cricket and a lot of other sports, but the application still depends on the sport. I know you mentioned about DRS, and most of you know I'm not a big fan of DRS, for obvious reasons. I'll tell you why. Imagine, US Open finals, Nadal versus Federer, and the referee calls it out. I'm not saying who served because they are fans of Nadal and Federer. So let's say somebody served, the referee called it out, and the referee is taken, and it's marginally inside. But imagine the laws that says if the referee has called it out, then half the ball needs to pitch inside the line. And if the umpire has called it in, then the full ball needs to pitch outside the line. And still a lot of people, when they talk about technology in sport, especially in cricket, they say it's not full 100% proof as to, they still say there's some kind of leap of faith, there can be errors. And further to add on to that, if you say it's an umpire's call, what is an umpire's call? Umpire can't be right and wrong on the same decision. Because in cricket we have seen at times it's umpire's call. If he has given it out, the batsman is out. But if he has given it not out, the decision stays as not out. So it's a bit confusing. I love black and white, where it says either you're out or you're not out. On the same decision, I can't be out and not out. So I feel it's the application, as in most cases, like in India, a lot of rules and regulations are made for the betterment of the society, but what's important is how we implement it, how we use it, how we follow it. Unless that's all is done in the proper way, technology can't be utilized to the optimum. So I feel when it comes to sport, yes, technology has helped us improve a lot. Statistics, for example, there are a lot of statistics about why the players are getting injured, what's their workload, what can be done so that less players get injured and all of that. But I'm not a big fan of stats. I'll give you a brief example. Let's say they at times show the stat of the last 5 games, this batsman has scored 300 runs. And how the media will twist it is, if you take that 150 that he scored in the very first game, in the last 4 games he has scored only 150 runs, which means he has a decent average. But he's the person who has scored that 150 also. So why you have to deduct it? So I feel stats is to some extent an indicative, and it's not something that you can just close your eyes and follow. Of course, it tells you a lot, but in our sport, since I play cricket, I know more about cricket than anything else. I feel a lot of times you need to see how things are progressing. How's the wicket? Who's the bowler? Who's the batsman? What kind of a form the bowler is in? What kind of a form the batsman is in? What's the required run rate and all of that? And that's why I feel stat is always something that helps you take a decision. I won't solely keep my eyes closed and, decide on just stats. But a mixture of a lot of these things along with the human brain and experience is something that will put you on taking the correct decision. So I feel technology definitely has improved a lot of things. It's definitely path to go. But again, the human mind is the most brilliant thing that's there. And I feel when used along with technology, that's the best way to move forward.
So basically, men cannot be replaced by machines.
Never. Otherwise, a lot of us would be jobless.
Yeah. Yeah. Any specific reason, Mahi, you've not actually acted in your own movie, The Untold Story?
Acting is something that's it's a very difficult job, to make people cry because of how you're acting on screen, to make people laugh, to make them feel what exactly you are going through. And imagine me acting in my movie. Most of the times, the expression will be like, a lot of things are going inside, but it doesn't come out. So I think it would have been very boring. So that was the reason, that was the reason we wanted an actor to play the role, because it's much easier for the spectators to understand. Otherwise, after the movie also they would be like, okay, what was he thinking? What really was going inside his mind? So that would have been tough. That's the only reason. Otherwise, I know I can act a bit, but I feel it's one of the most difficult things to do, acting.
Okay. What is a normal day like for Mahendra Singh Dhoni? Non-cricket, non-playing days.
Well, it depends on the mood, frankly. Let's say if you're playing a game, it's a longish day, then you travel, then it's different. But if I say, okay, I'm home and what my normal schedule will be, it depends if I'm working out in the morning. Let's say I'm working out in the morning. So usually you'll get up by 7 o'clock, 7:30, freshen up. I would go to the stadium on my bike. I love to ride my bike. So I'll go to the stadium, do a bit
And the
of
total
running.
number of bikes you have?
I think I have 50 plus bikes.
Okay.
I'm a bit obsessive, and my sister and my mother and now my wife has also joined in, and they are like, why are you collecting all this scrap? They don't even call it antiques or investment, they just call it scrap. So I'm like, the bikes don't complain. If you don't keep them nicely, you don't clean them, you don't put fuel, they still don't complain. And the beauty is, whatever happens, you put the fuel in, you take care of the electricals, it still works.
Right.
And it never taunts back. But, okay, I'll get back to it. So I'll go to the stadium, do a bit of running, come back, play with my dogs, spend some time with my parents, wife, daughter. I'm a father now. Then evening again, go back, do a bit of gym, followed by either badminton or billiards. That's something that I've just picked up now. Badminton is something that I used to play a lot. And after that, go back, and it's the same schedule. So I often find my schedule to be very boring, but that's what is needed of me. And I feel, that's a priority. I can contribute more in cricket if I can keep myself fit. So my first priority is to keep myself fit.
Oh, very good. In terms of non-cricketing sporting personality, who's your favorite and what sport?
Nadal in lawn tennis. Somehow I've always been a number 2 supporter. Not consciously, but it just happens. I was an Andre Agassi supporter, and he was number 2 that time. Steffi Graf, she was number 2. Then Nadal, number 2. Of course, he went on to become the world number 1. But I think his never die attitude. Even when it's the last point, he's losing, he'll still give in his best. And that's what is something that's very important, not to throw in the towel till the result is there. Often, what we have seen in our sport also, often it happens that, a few runs are needed, the wicket is flat, they have more wickets in the dressing room. Then what happens is you tend to back off saying, okay, we have lost this game and, let's look for the next one. But what's important is still give in your best and still try to win the game from that position. And you can still get a lot of positives out of it. Let's say, for example, when we were playing for CSK, and there were games where, there was, let's say, 90 to 95% chances of us losing because the game has progressed that way. Maybe we didn't score enough runs. But what's the positive to get out of that game? And I always kept the picture in mind. It's a 14 games. You have to do well in 14 games, then you qualify for the semis or the knockouts. So I said, if we can prolong their victory, it does affect the run rate. And at the end of the 14th game, I don't want to be in a position where you're calculating the run rate and suddenly it comes to you that the fourth game that we lost, if we would have bowled slightly better, maybe this run rate would have been slightly better for us and we would have qualified. So that's why, Nadal, for me, he never throws in the towel and gives his best, whatever the situation may be.
Your take on the comparison between Sachin and Virat Kohli, you played with both of them. What is your opinion and who do you like? Or give an example of their attitude in terms of the...
I've always believed not to compare individuals. The reason being there are a lot of things that are very different, especially comparing two people who played in different eras. The game has evolved a lot. If you talk about the ODIs, let's only talk about the ODIs. What has happened is the laws, they keep changing the laws. It's not like what they used to play 10 or 15 years back, the rules are the same. A lot of the rules have changed. With the T20 format coming in, the approach of the batsman has changed, the approach of the bowlers have changed. 270 once was considered a safe score, now 340 is getting chased down. So that's the reason I always felt it's better not to compare individuals, but yes, you admire the talent. Sachin was by far the best batsman, that I have personally seen. When it comes to the work ethics, I feel both Virat and Sachin, they were just brilliant. Whenever they would turn up for a net session, they would try to get something out of it, something productive, even if it's the worst of facilities or even if it's raining, they'll try to get something positive out of it. And at the same time, the fitness. If you see Sachin, the way he kept himself fit for more than 20 years, when he was playing international cricket is just amazing. And the same thing with Virat, he's in his prime form, fitness, and he's looking forward. He's looking forward 10 years, and he's preparing right from now. So I feel both of them are very special. I won't compare. It's difficult for me to pick one individual. But if I have to say something, I think India is blessed that both of them play for us.
Life for Mahi at 45. Businessman, movie actor, politician, cricket administrator.
I don't know, I'm someone who keeps talking about being in the present, and it's not something that I keep saying, it's something that I truly believe in. And for me, at 45, which is another, I think, 9 years, if I'm not wrong, that's a long time to look ahead. There are plenty of things that I need to focus on right now. And I feel it's always important to be in the present, focus in the present, because what I'm doing in the present will have an impact on the future. And I don't know where I will be in the next 5 years. So to predict about something that's 9 years down the line, it's very difficult. But one thing I can definitely predict is at 45, I will be 45 in the sense I have not mixed my date of birth. So that's the only thing I can say right now.
Well said. Few words about Chennai and your connection, and now we have brought you here. There was a TNPL last year, this tech play, so we're kind of filling the void. How do you feel? And
Chennai is a very special place. I made my test debut over here. It's very different to the environment I grew up upon, and I was taken by CSK. I had no clue which franchisee I would go to, but I feel that actually helped my cricket a lot, right from the management that was there and the fans. The people out here, they truly love the sport, they back their teams. But something that was really amazing was to see the crowd's reaction when the other team was also playing good cricket. They would appreciate it. Yes, they wanted CSK to win, but at the same time, they would appreciate a good shot. They will appreciate good bowling. And yes, they were always behind us. Whatever the amount of runs that was needed, or if you're looking to get the opposition out, they were always with us. And also the approach of the people. I always felt it was an eye-opener for me, right from the start. And spending those 60 days over here was truly special. And I became more about the process than the result. And I feel the management played a big role in that, because all of them, they understood sport, and in particular cricket. And that's why if we lost a game and if I was coming out, most of them knew by the time what went wrong, which over it went wrong, who was the batsman, who committed that error. So it made the job very easy. And at the same time, there was no undue pressure on any of the individuals. And the whole concept of being a team, being a family, it became stronger and stronger. And after that, I tried to use the same thing when it came to the Indian cricket team also. And I felt the time that I spent over here really improved me, not only as a cricketer, but also as a human being.
Few words about tech play and India Cements.
Well, I've been with India Cements for quite some years now, and we in India Cements, we are not only about making profits. It's not only about making money out here. We care about people. We care about people who work with us, who are part of us, and it's evident with the kind of stuff we keep doing. Yes, we want to become a bigger company. We want to expand. We want to get into different things, but after that, we also want to take care of the people who are with us. It's not only about us in the company, it's about everyone in the company. And that shows in the kind of CSR that we keep doing. And tech play, of course, I feel technology is definitely the future. I've got a lot of briefing from him when it comes to technology, because I know a lot about cricket, I know a lot about India Cements, but when it comes to technology, it's slightly out of the comfort zone, slightly out of the tunnel vision, but yes, I feel technology is the way to go, and that's where India is moving. I still feel, I remember the time when we used to have GPRS in our phone. We used to be very happy, oh, internet is working. Now we have reached a stage where we are into 4G. And still I feel there's plenty of room for us to improve. Not in terms of the internet speed, I'm saying, in terms of using the application, in terms of using the technology. And that's where I feel something like a tech play will make it more and more interesting, making life easier at the micro level and at the urban environment also. So I would like to wish you guys all the very best.
Thank you.
But at the same time, it's a market that keeps innovating. You have to be slightly ahead. You have to be slightly out of the box. But at the same time, keeping it simple is something that is the key. Keep it simple, but at the same time, look to improve.
Thank you, Mahi. Ladies and gentlemen, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that was Vice President Marketing, India Cements Limited, Shri Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Please stay on stage with us. We're in conversation with Prabhu Ramnathan, Executive Director, Tech Play Systems Limited. I would request Shri Ramnathan to present Shri Dhoni with a token of our love and appreciation. It's been so wonderful having you here with us, and it's been wonderful listening to your answers. We always knew they were impeccable, but there's one thing you haven't addressed yet. Who taunts back after the fuel? Fuel.